Dan Bilzerian is one of the most contentious figures in the high-stakes poker community. Bilzerian is loud, bold, and showy, and he has been embroiled in more scandals than we can count. Despite not being a professional poker player, he has long boasted of his poker success, claiming to have won millions in private games. However, his official results suggest otherwise. Blitz obviously did not become famous for his poker skills. Bilzerian's chaotic and irresponsible lifestyle, which he openly shares on social media, propelled him to celebrity status and earned him the unofficial title of King of Instagram. With a lot of money burning a hole in his pocket, he crafted a persona that people either admire or despise. This applies to both his personal life and his poker career. So, who exactly is Dan Bilzerian? How good is he at poker? And why does he tend to attract controversy wherever he goes? One of the most mysterious aspects of Bilzerian's life is how he made money. It's widely assumed that his father, who was convicted of fraud, devised a way to route funds to his son. While this is difficult to establish, Paul Bilzerian only returned a few million of the $62 million verdict against him. What happened to the rest is unknown, but it is not unreasonable to expect him to transfer some of it to his son. And Blitz has never denied this, but he claims he made the majority of the money himself, with poker revenues reportedly playing a significant role in the process. But why did Bilzerian leave his poker career behind? Did he not make enough money from it? Let's start from the beginning. Dan grew up in a wealthy home with little desire for additional material possessions. In one of his interviews, he stated that he did not have many friends growing up, which may have contributed to him being a flashy lunatic, as he puts it. However, when his father was arrested, things got worse. He started getting into problems and was even expelled from a few schools. Bilzerian later attempted to join the Navy SEALs, but the experience went about as well as expected. He was not the sort to obey commands, therefore he dropped out after only a short time there. Following that, he attended the University of Florida, which is where his poker journey began. He still didn't have access to trust funds in his name, so by the second year he was absolutely broke. According to Bilzerian, this is when he became serious about poker, playing in-house games and earning up to $90,000 per week. However, the tale of the flamboyant playboy was only starting.
I don't know, like I had this image in my mind when I was growing up of like how awesome this would be. I don't know.
Dan Bilzerian originally drew the attention of the poker community in 2007, and this was the start of many controversial stories. According to people who were in Lake Tahoe at the time, Bilzerian arrived with a suitcase full of cash, which is not surprising for a man who was always looking to make an impression. Supposedly, there was $100,000 in the luggage, and Bilzerian stepped right into the high-stakes activity. But he wasn't playing loosely or irresponsibly. Instead, he waited for others to do so, allowing him to profit from it. When that didn't happen, he stood up and left. Aside from the suitcase full of cash, Bilzerian was not particularly contentious at the time, but this story has many more chapters. Putting poker aside for a moment, Bilzerian rose to prominence mostly through his uncensored Instagram feed. There, he frequently posts photographs and videos of himself surrounded by naked models, luxurious cars, and guns. Blitz is supposedly a gun enthusiast with a large private collection, which does not sit well with many folks. But it appears that the King of Instagram isn't too concerned about it. While some may despise him for it, many others love his approach, as seen by his 32.8 million followers. One such performance landed Bilzerian in hot water when an adult actress, Janice Griffith, sued him for damages. The entire event stemmed from a photo shoot organized by Bilzerian and The Hustler, during which Blitz attempted to toss Janice into the pool from a rooftop. However, the actress did not land properly, injuring her foot in the process.
I've had to cancel a couple of scenes because of this broken foot.
Bilzerian, like so many previous and subsequent scandals, brushed it aside, not giving it any thought. He laughed at the entire incident and continued on. Of course, Bilzerian's lifestyle has implications, even if he can pay skilled lawyers to resolve legal issues. He had 2 heart attacks by the age of 25, and more recently, he experienced a pulmonary embolism. most likely as a result of too much alcohol, gambling, and whatever else he enjoys doing in his leisure time. And that appears to be the only type of time he has. Although he has business connections, the king of Instagram has never been much of an entrepreneur, unless he also runs some secret enterprises that no one knows about. His most recent marijuana business venture lost more than $50 million in 1 year. According to his accountants, Bilzerian traveled the world and hosted lavish parties, expecting the company to pay for everything. And if you live the lifestyle he does, spending a few million isn't that difficult. But where does poker fit into this? How did Dan Bilzerian get into the high-stakes poker circle, and how much of his self-proclaimed success is real? Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Aside from his suitcase full of cash shenanigans in 2007, Blitz did not leave much of an impression on the poker world, at least not in a visible way. His sole recorded live tournament result came in 2009 when he finished 180th in the WSOP main event and earned more than $36,000. However, a few years ago, he made a daring assertion claiming to have won $50 million playing poker.
Like, I beat one guy for $54 million and...
54 million?
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't throw that figure out there and expect the poker community to ignore it. Bilzerian's results were questioned, and everyone who saw him play believed it was impossible. However, this is not necessarily the case. Putting aside his larger-than-life personality, it appears that he's a very intelligent man. At the very least, all of the IQ tests he has taken over the years indicate this. This, combined with his celebrity status, allows him to participate in some of the best and most profitable private games available today. Add to it the fact that he's viewed as a losing player with a lot of money, and he has a wide range of options. Now, let there be no mistakes. Regardless of what he says or thinks, Bilzerian is a losing player when competing against the world's finest. He can't compete with the poker experts, who have spent years studying the game and learning everything there is to know. Perhaps Bilzerian is aware of this, and his controversial tweets and statements are simply part of his disguise, aiding in the development of his fish character. However, in a game including A-list Hollywood celebrities and models, it's not difficult to envision him being one of the finest players on the team. He plays the game more than others, he's a smart person, and he definitely has the bankroll and confidence to mix things up in big pots. He's also been friends with some of the finest poker players, so it's not surprising that he's learned a thing or two along the road. Perhaps $50 million is an exaggeration, another attempt to stir up trouble. But is it possible that he won a lot of money playing poker in very discreet hush-hush games? I've got to say, yes. The reason he would brag about it is rather obvious, because he's Dan Bilzerian. Dan Bilzerian has recently joined GG Poker, a top online poker site. This has sparked controversy among players and poker enthusiasts who fear his association could harm the game's reputation. However, Bilzerian's over 30 million Instagram followers make him a significant business partner.
But GG didn't really make it a big deal to you?
Believe it or not, I was like surprised they stuck by me, you know, after that whole, like, you know, when I told that chick to or whatever.
Shut up.
Women in poker have expressed disapproval of Bilzerian's representation, as he hasn't always been kind to them. Bilzerian responded by shutting down those who disagreed, adding insults. Despite this, GG Poker did not force the agreement, indicating they were aware of the situation. They decided that Bilzerian's broad reach outweighs any negative publicity that comes with having him as a brand ambassador. Bilzerian's response to the criticism was expected, but it was not enough to force GG Poker to end the agreement. When we consider everything we know about Bilzerian, he remains a mystery in so many ways. Are his claims of multi-million-dollar poker winnings true? Has he truly been a regular in some super soft, super rich games where people are willing to pay money to the Bilzerian Fund? We will probably never know for sure. However, there's no denying that he brings color to the entire poker ecosystem. It's not always the right color, but every story requires some villains, and Dan Bilzerian is doing a good job of it. If you're interested in stories like this, let us know which poker player we should cover next.